Hello, and welcome back to the channel. I'm Charon.
And I'm Corey. Hi, everyone. Welcome back.
Today's episode is a little different from our usual ones. It's a special one, I think.
It is. Today, I want to share a memory. A very personal memory. It's about someone I loved very much. Someone I miss every single day.
Someone or something?
Someone. His name was Mochi. He was my cat.
Mochi.
He passed away about a year ago, and I've been wanting to talk about him for a while, but it took me some time to feel ready.
We're glad you're ready now.
Me too. So, this is a memory postcard. I wrote some notes, some memories down. I'm going to read them today, like a letter to Mochi, or maybe a letter about him.
I'll be here listening and asking questions, as always.
Of course you will. I got Mochi when I was 22. I had just moved to a new city for my first real job. I didn't know anyone there. My apartment was very small and very, very quiet.
That sounds lonely.
It was so lonely. I had work, and that was about it. I came home every night to this silent apartment, and I just sat there with no one.
So you got a cat?
I went to an animal shelter one Saturday morning. I told myself I was only going to look.
Nobody only looks at an animal shelter.
Nobody. You know this. I walked in, and within 5 minutes, I had this tiny gray kitten in my arms. He was the smallest one there, very thin, with the most enormous ears that didn't match his head at all.
Enormous ears?
Like satellite dishes. His head was this little round thing, and his ears were just massive. He was going to grow into them eventually, but at that point, pure comedy.
And he was the one, right away.
He put one tiny paw in my hand, and I was completely finished. I named him Mochi because he was gray and soft and round, like a small rice cake that had somehow come to life.
A small rice cake with satellite dish ears.
Exactly. That was Mochi. The first night I brought Mochi home, he hid under the bed for 6 hours. I sat on the floor next to him and just talked to him about my day, about the new city, about being scared and not knowing anyone.
You talked to a cat hiding under a bed.
I did. And after about 2 hours, he came out. Not because I did anything clever. I think he just decided the voice was safe, that the person attached to the voice was okay.
Cats choose you. You don't choose them.
That's exactly right. He came out and he sat next to me on the floor, and we just looked at each other for a long time. And that was the beginning of everything.
What kind of cat was he? Tell me about him.
He was quiet, calm in a way that not many cats are. You know how some cats are chaos, knocking things off tables, running around at 3 a.m, biting you for absolutely no reason?
I have encountered those cats.
Mochi was nothing like that. He was gentle, thoughtful almost. He always watched a room before he moved through it. Very patient, very still.
Like an old soul in a small gray body.
Exactly that, an old soul. Mochi understood things I never taught him. He knew when I was sad. He always, always knew. I could come home after the worst day, not say a word, not make any sound, and he would find me. He would walk up quietly and put his head against my leg. Just be there.
Animals sense things we try to hide.
He was so consistent about it. Sad about work, sad about a friend, sad about nothing I could even name. Mochi was there every single time.
Did he do anything specific or just be present?
Both. Usually he would sit on my lap, not demanding attention, just sitting. Like he was saying, I'm here. You don't need to explain anything. I'm just here.
That's rare, even in people.
It is. I didn't understand how rare it was until later. There was one night I remember very clearly. I had a terrible day at work. I had made a big mistake and I felt ashamed and scared. I came home and I just slid down the kitchen wall and sat on the floor. I didn't even make it to the couch.
Oh, that kind of day.
That kind. And Mochi came from wherever he was sleeping. He walked up, looked at me once, and sat down right next to me on the cold kitchen floor. Not on my lap, next to me, like a friend sitting beside a friend.
Not trying to fix anything. Just there.
Just there. I cried, and he stayed the entire time. When I finally stopped, I looked at him and he looked at me, and I thought, I'm okay. Not fixed, not happy, but okay, because he was there.
That's something very big.
In that moment, it was everything. We had our routines. Every morning, my coffee, his breakfast. He always sat on the kitchen counter while I made coffee and watched me like a very senior supervisor, making sure I did it correctly.
Quality control.
Very strict quality control. He had standards. Every evening I would sit on the couch to read, and Mochi would arrange himself on the left armrest like he owned it, which he did. The whole apartment was his, honestly. I just paid the rent.
As is right. Cats understand the natural order.
They do. Sundays were the best days. No alarm, Mochi curled against my legs, both of us in a small, warm pile, sleeping as late as we wanted. No schedule, no rushing, just the two of us and the morning light.
That sounds like the perfect Sunday.
It was. I didn't know then how much I would miss those Sundays. Okay, here is where the story gets harder.
Take your time.
But I was never really present. You know what I mean? Your body was there, but your mind was somewhere else entirely.
Always somewhere else, thinking about tomorrow, answering emails at 10 at night, on my phone on the couch. Mochi would come and sit near me, and I would just barely notice. I would maybe reach down and pet him once, but my eyes were still on the screen.
I wasn't cruel to him. I still fed him. I still took care of him in the basic ways, but I stopped being truly present with him. And he noticed. He adjusted quietly, the way he always adjusted, pulled back a little, spent more time alone, stopped waiting at the door every single time. He gave you space.
He always gave me space. That was his nature. Patient and understanding. Right to the end. The signs came slowly. He started eating a little less, sleeping more than usual, moving more carefully. I noticed these things. I did notice them, but I told myself, he's getting older, 8 years old. This is just what happens. I believed that because I wanted to believe it, because stopping to look closely meant stopping, and I didn't feel like I could stop.
You were afraid of what you might see.
Yes, and I was too busy to be afraid even. It was more like I pushed it to the back of my mind and kept going.
Sometimes busyness is its own kind of hiding.
It is. I have thought about that a lot this past year, how much I was hiding in my own schedule. It was a Tuesday evening in November. I came home late, almost 10 o'clock. I opened the door and Mochi wasn't there. He always came to the door, every single time. That was our thing. I came home and he was there. That was how it went for 6 years.
And he wasn't there?
He wasn't there. I put my bag down and called his name, and the apartment was just silent. I checked the living room, the kitchen. I found him in the corner of the bedroom, behind the curtain, very still. He looked at me when I called him, but he didn't get up.
Oh no.
I knew. In that single moment, I knew. Something was really wrong. I picked him up, and he was lighter than he should have been. I hadn't noticed how thin he had gotten because I hadn't been paying close enough attention. I had been too busy to really see him. What did you do? I called an emergency vet immediately. I went that same night. The vet examined him and told me, kidney disease, advanced. She said it had probably been developing for months, while I was too busy, while I was telling myself it was just aging, while I was on my phone on the couch not really seeing him. She said we could manage it, give him fluids, change his diet, keep him comfortable. But she was honest with me. She said quietly, he's been sick for a long time. He's very tired.
He's tired. What a heavy thing to hear.
I drove home that night holding him on my lap in the car, which he never normally allowed, by the way. He hated the car. And I just talked to him. I said, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry I was busy. I'm so sorry I wasn't paying attention. I'm so sorry. Did you feel like he heard you? He put his head against my hand, just like he always did. Still patient, still forgiving, still so gentle with me. I took time off work. I had about 3 more weeks with him after that, and I was completely, fully present for every single moment of those 3 weeks. Every meal, every nap, every quiet afternoon on the couch, every time he let me hold him. Were those weeks good, in spite of everything? They were some of the most precious weeks of my life. I know that sounds strange.
the weeks before losing someone, but I was more present with Mochi in those 3 weeks than I had been in the entire year before. I finally came back to him, and he felt that. He seemed peaceful. He purred more in those 3 weeks than he had in months. He let me hold him for longer than usual. He slept on my chest at night, which he hadn't done since he was a kitten.
He was waiting for you to come back to him.
I think he was.
The last morning, I woke up early, before 5. Mochi was lying next to me, very still. His breathing was different. I knew right away. I held him close and I talked to him. I told him he was the best thing that ever came into that small, quiet apartment in that lonely new city. That he saved me from a loneliness I didn't know how to fix by myself. That he was the kindest, most patient creature I had ever known. That the satellite dish ears were perfect. That all of it was perfect. You told him everything. Everything. I should have said more often. Everything that was true every single day, but that I had been too busy, too distracted to say out loud. I said it all that morning. Every word. I'm glad you got to say it. I am too. He went very peacefully. He just stopped. Very quietly. Very gently. Exactly the way he did everything. I came home after. The apartment was quiet. I had forgotten what it felt like before Mochi. That first quiet when I moved in and knew nobody. But this quiet was different. This quiet had a shape. A Mochi-shaped space in it. The left armrest of the couch. The kitchen counter. The corner behind the curtain. All there. All empty. A Mochi-shaped space. I kept his food bowl on the floor for 2 weeks. I couldn't move it. It felt wrong to move it. How did you get through it? Slowly. I cried a lot. I called my mom. I went through all my photos of him. I had thousands of photos. And I just looked at his face for a long time. That round little gray face. Those satellite dish ears. Those perfect, enormous ears.
What do you carry now, a year later? What do you carry from Mochi?
The reminder to pay attention. That is the biggest thing he left me with. He showed me, by getting sick while I wasn't watching, how much we can miss when we're constantly in our heads, when we're always rushing to the next thing.
A hard lesson to learn that way.
The hardest. I was so deep in being productive, in performing okayness, in keeping up with everything, that I stopped seeing what was right in front of me, the most important thing in my home.
Do you blame yourself?
I used to, a lot in the beginning. I would lie awake and think, if I had paid attention earlier, if I had taken him to the vet sooner, would he have had more time? More good months? I don't know. I'll never know.
And now?
Now I hold it differently. I don't completely let myself off the hook. I think it matters to be honest about what I missed, about my part in it. But I've stopped punishing myself, because Mochi never punished me.
He never did.
Not once. That last year, when I was distracted and barely present, he didn't become cold or distant. He adjusted quietly. He kept loving me. He kept giving me every bit of patience and warmth he had.
He kept loving you all the way through.
So I think the best way to honor that, the most honest way, is to take that love and let it change something in me, to be more present, to actually look at the people and animals in my life, to not wait for an emergency before I really show up.
To not wait until you're losing something to see it clearly.
To not wait. Yes, that's the lesson. Don't wait.
Mochi was in my life for 8 years. 8 years of morning coffee supervision and Sunday sleep-ins and cold kitchen floors and enormous satellite dish ears. He gave me everything. His patience, his warmth, his quiet and steady presence. He asked for so little in return, just to be seen, just to be with me. And for 1 year, I was too busy to give him that. I will not forget it. But more than that, I will not repeat it.
Thank you for sharing him with us, Corey.
Thank you for listening to him. And if you have someone at home, a pet, a person, anyone who is quietly waiting, please look up. Just grow.